Just fucking do it. Subscribe now. And I learned, and you'll learn what you're best at. You may not think you're going to learn it, but you'll learn it. But you can't learn it. Baptism by fire. You got to be bloodied up during the first few interviews, and you got to be, I don't recommend any of you fill a room for 300 people because it could get ugly. But when I raised money for drilling for oil in Israel, and I had cut a deal with the Israeli National Oil Company, and I went to the 2 or 3 biggest synagogues in New York City, and we had 600, 700 people at each meeting. And in those days, the Jewish people, the rich Jewish people, would invest in almost anything in Israel. They didn't give a shit. Okay, and I'm a goyim. I'm not a Jew. Although now I find out later, 50 years later, that I do have Jewish blood. But at that time, I was staunchly that I wasn't a Jew, and so they gave me extra brownie points because I was a non-Jew trying to save. Okay, but we put we just. As I started to talk, we'd have a sign-up book. Before I said 3 words, there were only 40 people in the line to give money. So I said, this is like shooting fish in a fucking barrel. I'm thinking to myself, And we raised a lot of money, and then I got a phone call from a then 2-star general who was the head of the Israeli National Oil Company. And this is all, I'm not telling secrets now, it's all been published. Mr. Peña, we're not having this phone call, but we can't honor our $60 million commitment. I just raised, $11 million at a synagogue, and he said that we're going to war with Lebanon, and our budget, we have a small budget. It's in the early 80s, and anyway. So then I had to go back to that same synagogues, or those same synagogues, and tell them we're not drilling. And I still remember Governor Kerry says, Dan, as soon as you give out the news, we got to get out of here, or they're going to skin us alive, because I had already spent $7 million of the money. And they weren't interested that Israel as a country was going to war. They wanted to know how I was going to pay back that $7 million. Okay? So my alligator mouth overloaded my hummingbird ass. And I can say, but this, but that, but and we came up with a way to pay them back. So not as quickly as they would have liked. But, we got the money and we gave them overrides and deals. Yeah, a bunch of crap. And I make light of it. I didn't make light of it then, though. It was fucking serious. It was fucking serious. Just as when we, unbeknownst to us, took in money from the mafia. That's another story that I won't relate on YouTube. But, because one of you at that time, said stuff that they shouldn't have said. And then oil went from $41 a barrel to $8 a barrel, and everybody was wiped out, myself included. But they didn't give a shit. Where's the fucking money? So, but you'll find the best way for you to sell. Most of the kids, it's one-on-one. One-on-one. Because the other side of it is if you close 25 people in a room, how do you follow up? Because it's a small world, the world of raising money and doing deals. And the last thing you want is to get a reputation of not fulfilling your obligation. Otherwise, you're dead meat. You'll have to run to Bolivia, But we've always been able to perform. And it's much easier, like right now, one of my deals, we've got 11 deals on the boil, which is too many, really. That's about twice as many as we should have, meaning that they're in one form of closing. But a lot of shit can go wrong in 11 deals. 4, 5, or 6 used to be my threshold. But this particular group that I'm involved with has closed a bunch of deals. So they have more than 1 or 2 people within the organization that can go, close deals and get them done. But as you heard Peter say, it's your first deal. You got to get it done. It's the most important thing in life. Because everything changes. As I said in the film clip, now you as a group have done deals, or a deal. And you're not just relying on their 240 years experience of all the deals they closed. But that's how you get in the door on their reputations, and they know it. I've sat in many a kitchen where I saw the sun go down and the sun fucking come up with the missus making coffee. And you're going to hear Tom McGuire, his closing methodology, which is dynamite. First class, 21st century. And you'll see how he does it. But it's insurance 101. I was an insurance closer. I didn't leave the fucking kitchen until they bought. He is the same kind of closer, but he's not sitting in the kitchen. He puts together the plan on their laptop, in his laptop, and listen, this is what you want? Cool, that's awesome, okay. And you'll hear all those words. I can't say those words because I think they're disingenuous. How can so many things in life be so fucking awesome? That word. How is that possible? You know? But, I mean, a lot of people use it. Or it's terrific. Anyway, when we go through the actual sales mechanism, and then that deal, your whole life exists around getting that deal closed. Nothing, and I'm not saying, we've had guys close deals with their wife giving birth. Push, honey, push. As God is my witness. Most of those wives still hate me. Because I interrupted that personal, I don't know what the fuck I'm interrupting, but anyway, that bonding moment or something like that. And Sally knows some of these people because I'm still in business with them, and the wives won't have anything to do with me, Of course, they say, what if it had been a breach, this or that, or something bad had happened? Only what if? What if he didn't marry you, you fat ass bitch? That's worse than having a breech baby marrying you. So we have not bonded some of the wives of some of my business partners. And even though you may want to say that, you may have thought of saying that, very few people do say it. Okay? Plus, we never lost any of these kids in any of these deals, so touch wood. Okay, so now then I don't spend much time celebrating after a deal. If your first deal, and I'm not recommending you go elephant hunting or dinosaur hunting. I'm not recommending that. Because a lot of those first deals end in tears. But if you do, and you knock it over the par for 100 or 200 million, then you can celebrate. And I've had the pleasure of doing that a number of times. And if you do, you're raising the bar. Every deal, when you start the model, less than $1 million, the first one, $1.5 million, every deal should be greater than the deal before. Doesn't always work out that way, but you geared your board up for that. Every deal should be bigger, should be greater. It should, add more value to your portfolio. And again, it's not easy, but it's easier, and it's the only game in town where you don't have to put up any money. And I already told you, if you had some money, then it's easy peasy. But then some of the guys and gals then have a tendency to start to use too much of their money. If you got to put in 50 or 100 grand to close a deal, fine. But not 20%. Okay? But it's easier, because a couple of you got enough cash to put in, 20 or 30%. And again, don't look for angel investors like Peter got lucky. But it wasn't luck. He had put together a world-class board. He had a world-class chairman you don't have to explain about. He came across it's hard to think of him being enthusiastic, but he came across extremely enthusiastic. He went to Toastmasters and did all those things to learn how to speak better. He was persevering. He kept knocking on doors. And it's like there was a article in the Financial Times in 1997 that had me pretending to be blind in the cartoon on the front of the second section. And I'm like selling pencils, and it's obvious I'm not really blind in the cartoon. I thought it was hilarious. Some of my business partners, didn't like it, especially ING Bank. The first thing when I walked into the boardroom, they threw the newspaper on the table and it slid down. Can you explain that to us, Mr. Peña? I thought it was funny. Not to them it wasn't, because they were one of my two principal banks at the time. They said, we want, they didn't say revenge, but we want, So anyway, I sued the Financial Times and won. It was the first time in 168 years they ever lost. And so, but I had my hand out. I mean, if you and I were in an elevator, I'd be pitching you for money. I didn't have an elevator pitch. I had a phone booth pitch. Okay? And during the financial crisis of that era, we were virtually the only oil and gas energy company that had more or less an unlimited budget. We got money from the Japanese, and we had certain people in our organization that were, we're not going to do business with the Japs. We had certain people in our organization, we're not going to do business with the Jews of Israel. I had certain people, at the end of the day, okay, well, we're going to close down the exploration division. Oh, fuck. Well, I didn't hate the Japs that much anyway, but we were the only guys in town that had money. The Petroleum Club of Houston had a secondary market on Rolex watches. At that time, a Rolex watch cost $8-9 or something like that. But the Texas guys, diamonds and rubies and all kinds of gaudy shit on their watch, okay? For those of you who've seen that. There was a secondary market. Okay, we were the only oil company that had a Christmas party at the Petroleum Club. We were the only petroleum company that didn't take back the credit cards from everybody. And unfortunately, I think I didn't do it. Maybe I did. Our 1,000 employees that were there in Houston used to lay shit on the other guys. We're at Texaco and Exxon and Mobil. We're going to buy you. As guys would do, especially over a few drinks. But motivated sellers, you can never have enough motivated sellers. You can never have enough motivated sellers in your pipeline. And and as you get better at it, and you will be pissed at them wasting your time. And my experience is the more aggressive you kids get, the better your results are. The better your results are. And I don't believe that there's win-win situations. That's horseshit. Somebody always wins more. And when you do a 100% seller finance deal, if you don't think you fucked them where they breathe, it's because you don't understand the deal. A 100% seller finance, even though you're getting them out of trouble, the succession plan is so one-sided, you can't even use words to describe it. Do you all understand that? It's a license to fucking steal legally. And I don't see, of course, Sally would say, she was sitting there, there's a lot of things you don't see that because you don't want to see, but I don't understand why it's not used more often. I know why Goldman Sachs and Bank of America don't tell you to use it or show you even it, because the fees are so dramatically less. And of course now the banks, not the big banks, the smaller banks have transaction fees. Okay, so they've figured out ways to add on to collect money. But back when I was doing it, there was no transaction fee. Unless you were doing, $50, $80, $300 million deal. Certainly not for 10 or 20 million. To the extent that you used the commercial debt. Okay. So you've done your first deal. We're going to go back and we're going to fill in some of the gaps. Any questions on anything I've said so far? Yes, sir.
I was curious after the
Are you curious? Well, good.
Well,
okay.
After the first deal and they've turned it, they flipped it. They go to the next bigger deal. How many of your mentees, if anybody, has ever gone sloppy?
Oh, most of you. What do you mean how many? Most of you. You get the stories about drunken sailors, when they've been out to sea 7-8 months and they come to shore and they act are all true. Alcohol and being a sailor at sea Don't mix. That's why they're not supposed to let you drink when you're at sea. But once you get on shore, you act like drunken sailors. Now, when you do a seller finance deal, you're less likely to act that way because you got no money in your hand. But when you do it like a 60-40, fuck, you go bananas. That's when you leave your wife and your wife finds different panties in their fucking bed. If you do it wrong, you should always have at least 2 people to sign checks, and it shouldn't be you. I'll get to that more. Okay. Your check signing days, once you make an acquisition, are over. As opposed now, you probably may be the only check signer. Okay. I haven't signed a check. 40 years? Probably 40 years. I used to carry a check in my wallet. Now it's all disintegrated. On an account that Sally says has been closed 25 years, but anyway, I carried one. So I had one in case, but yeah, they get sloppy, and the bigger the deal, and when you buy something at 3 or 4 times, in other words, cash flow is covered, debt service is covered 3 or 4 times by cash flow, that means you're going to have possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars or pounds or in the bank. Well, you've never had hundreds of thousands of pounds, euros or dollars in the bank before, for the most part. I'm not talking about rupees and shit, all the chicken shit currencies. I bet, and you go fucking nuts. You go fucking nuts. My tailor down south, John Kent, I have a tailor here, Peter Johnson, in Scotland. I'm a 40-year tailor who's made clothes for the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh, and the royal family. I can always tell when you've got a group of guys that have done closed deals because they come and buy 5 suits at $5,000 a piece. Don't you ever tell them? He said, you didn't listen to me in the 80s, Dan, so they're not going to listen to me. So I just, sell them the 5 suits. And that's the way it is. And the more impoverished you were, and maybe a couple of you arguably were kind of impoverished, the crazier you get. And if you don't have a significant other, and you're all by yourself, you get real fucking crazy. Hookers from Belarus, I've had a kid fill up first class from Belarus with just hookers. First class, 8 people. I've seen it all. Every immoral, moral act known to man and animal, which I'm not going to describe on YouTube, I've seen it. And it never ceases to amaze me how fucking nuts. Now, Sally's first education, she's a psychologist. So every once in a while, she's got this kind of epidemic, syndrome, bullshit. I'm not interested in that. I can't believe that they get that crazy. For the 2 or 3 of you that were really impoverished, and you know who you are, you gotta stay on the line because it takes you long. You stretch a rubber band like this. When you let it loose, what happens? And it overreacts. Well, when you do your first deal and you've never had anything luxurious in your life or not even close to it, you can react not necessarily in an intelligent or sane way. And we have other people that just stay on the mark, like, of course, Andres is not a good example because I'm his chairman, but he just steady Eddie. Ein, zwei, drei, bam, bam, just like the good German he is. Okay, YouTube.